Okay, hey guys, and welcome back. So, before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to Macrobio Boy. He's another Diablo 2 content creator. He actually inspired this build, and it's a Warlock Tainted Summoner build for the new PTR. So, now that they've nerfed our Echoing Strike Boy, we have to find new ways to enjoy the Warlock. So, I think this is one of the top ways to enjoy him. And basically, I'll link the video down below that inspired this. But one of the difficulties that the character runs into is fire immunes. And the reason for that is even if you have like a Sunder on you, there's summons, right? So the Sunder will work, but unfortunately, no gear that you wear with the minus to fire res is going to help except for Infinity. That's the only one, the Conviction, or if you use like a lower res wand. So that's another option. So, okay, before we get into it, I'll show you guys the skills, the gear, and then we'll get into gameplay. So for skills, again, there is some flexibility with this build. This is just the way I've chosen to build it. So 1 point into summon Goatman, then you want to max Tainted, summon Tainted. 1 point into Deathmark. Max Blood Boil for the synergy with the summon Tainted. 1 point into Engorge, just to use it to heal and buff your Tainted. And max Demonic Mastery. We're going to leave all these alone. We don't need any of these. You could, in theory, get Defiler, Consume. You could do all that, but we're not going to. We don't need it. As far as Eldritch, we maxed out Levitation Mastery and Mirrored Blades. And then we also... Oh, you know what? I just had a realization. I could have gotten way more magical damage. Okay, anyway, that's alright. So basically, we've chosen to go with Levitation and Mirrored Blades for a physical build, but I'm realizing you can also go 1 point into everything, including Mirrored Blades, and you can dump the 40 points I used for Mastery and Mirrored Blades into Hexbane and one of its synergies, and you could go magic damage instead of physical damage. So it's really how you want to play, and I'll show you in a minute what you're going to use. So that's it for the Eldritch skill tree, Demon skill tree, and for Chaos we just have 1 point into Lethargy. These two are coming from our equipped item Measured Wrath. So we didn't actually invest any points here. Only 1 point into the Lethargy Sigil, and that's optional. It's only if you want to. I just like to have it. It's a 1 point wonder that's boosted by your skills, so why would I not choose to get it, right? Okay, so here's how we play. So first thing you want to do is equip a Mang Songs as well as a Measured Wrath for a total 9 to summon Tainted. And if you include the +1 point you get from Battle Command, right, because that's kind of a hidden +1, then that's 10 to summon Tainted on this swap here. If you've already used Battle Command. So anyway, here's how you want to go about doing your summons. First thing you want to do is Battle Command. Then you want to do your summons. So you want to swap. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3 Tainted. Swap back to your Call to Arms and now do Battle Orders. Now that you've summoned them, you don't need to actually keep the Mang Songs on you anymore, because once your minions are summoned for the game, they're not going to drop 5 levels if I take this off. They're going to stay at the level I summoned them at. And just to give you guys an idea, they do almost 38,000 fire damage apiece. Just thought you'd like to see that. So we'll take that off. And what we're going to replace it with, it might seem a bit strange, but we're going to replace it with Infinity. Okay? And I'll show you guys why in a moment. So we'll just do a little swap here. Come on. Okay. So now we've got Infinity equipped and Mirrored Blades. Perfect. And we're gonna grab our teleport. Now you could, decide yourself if you want more points here, more points here, different sigils if you want to get Apocalypse, if you want to get Abyss. It's all really based on your play style, right? I prefer this build the way I've made it, but yes, of course, there's flexibility and different ways you could play it. So, okay. Without further ado, let me show you guys what this build's all about. So, now that you've summoned your guys, I'm going to take off all my summoning gear and I'm going to put on my playing gear. So, it's actually a little bit different. And I'll show you guys how we deal with the Demon Lords now. So, basically, all these Tainted guys do incredible damage, but it's all fire damage. So, some monsters are inherently immune, and when they're immune and they get sundered, the minus resistance that applies to them is decreased by like a factor of 5. So instead of like 100% minus 100% to resist, it's only minus like 20%. So that's only if they're immune to start. So basically you do have a level 12 conviction, but for things like Demon Lords, that's just not low enough. Their fire resistance is just far too high. So the way we deal with those guys, I've actually picked a Chaos Sanctuary on purpose so I could show you. So let's just renew our... Oh shoot. Okay, very good. So you also get like 4,000 life. It's a pretty crazy build. Let's renew our battle orders here. It's almost 4.5 thousand, and there's still room to improve and put life charms and whatever. So, okay, but like, just look at how they perform. I don't even have to intervene, right? This is players 8. Just want to show you guys gameplay. This is players 8, okay? Forget Echoing Strike. This build is deadly. Yes, it's very expensive, but I suspect that's what Warlock is going to be. It's going to be a build for people who can afford to sink high runes into the build. So my Mercenary has a Plague. For the 20% chance to cast level 12 low resist when struck, this is very important because this actually stacks with your Conviction. You can run dual Plagues for an increased chance of low resist, but I actually prefer to pair it with a Destruction, Phase Blade. For not only the increased base weapon speed, but also for those stats. The Volcano, 23% chance to cast, goes off pretty often, and it's pretty deadly. The other stats are just amazing as well. Ignore target's defense, magic damage, crushing blow, deadly strike, everything you could want. He's rocking an Ethereal Andy Visage with a 35 increased attack speed, 30% fire resist Jewel, and Treachery. Now, the reason we have non-ethereal Treachery is because this is based on chance to get hit. So you don't necessarily want to have a defense that's too high, but you also don't want a defense that is so low you're getting hit every single time. So it's kind of a balance. It didn't need to be ethereal. You could absolutely just have a regular Andariel's Visage. In fact, it might work better as far as getting hit and proccing your lower res. So as you guys can see, it's absolutely devastating, but I haven't even started weighing in. So you have to remember, we're doing all this damage with a 60-point investment essentially, right? Which is these 3 skills. But we also have 40 points invested between these 2. Oh, and we haven't even cast our Hexbane yet. Good lord, there's just... Okay, let's put our Bank Songs back on for a second. For the extra skills, we're cast our Hexbane. There's just so much damage to be had. I'm just like, I can't believe it. So, nope, that's not the one. Here it is. So, the reason we're doing all this is Hexbane, right? It might not seem like very much damage. It was like 600 magic damage that we added, right? But when you look at how fast this hits, right? It definitely adds a little bit of damage, right? It's nothing to sneeze at, even when you're using the Infinity. Every hit, another 600 magic damage. It's something. So anyway, once I start weighing in as well, and I start using the Mirrored Blades, like this is players 8, guys. You see how quickly they go down? Look at this. These Venom Lords, sorry, not Demon Lords, Venom Lords, that's what they're called. These Venom Lords, like, never stood a chance. They just never did. Players 8, we are wiping the floor with everything. Now, I also want you guys to take note of a couple things. Like, for example, we have made this whole build to be extremely offensive, right? If you look at my resistances, they're terrible, right? You could wear a shield here that could give you more resistances for sure than this one does. But I prefer the Measured Wrath with the Jewel. Again, just to be offensive. Offense is your best defense. This is players 8. So even with these horrible resistances, you guys can see I'm barely getting touched. My battle order says worn off. My life has dropped. I'm barely getting touched. Now, why is that though, right? Because there's 4 guys that are tanking for me. You have the Barbarian, which is an incredible tank, the Barbarian Merc, and 3 of these very beefy Tainted guys with battle orders. I get attacked very rarely, okay? Now, I want you guys to notice some of the stats. So, 1 to 7k for 40 points of investment's really not bad. So here's my stats with this build in total. Not only do we get the Conviction to help out with the fire damage from the Tainted, but we get almost 200 magic find, 19 life after each kill, 8% reduced physical damage, 55% increased attack speed, 110% faster run walk, 30% hit recovery, 45% faster cast rate. This could be improved. You can tweak it. 15% damage goes to mana, prevent monster heal, 350 to demons, 10% open wounds. Okay, here, now we're getting to the good stuff. 90% chance of crushing blow. Guys, 90% chance of crushing blow. When you hit with that speed, you'll take down anything. Okay, Diablo, Venom Lords, Ubers. It doesn't matter. This is crazy, okay? 67% deadly strike. That means on almost 70% of my hits, I'm doubling this damage. 14k damage. Not bad. Slow target 10%. Fire immunity is sundered. Minus 55 lightning and minus 8 to enemy physical damage resistance. So that's coming from our Protector Stone Jewel that we have in the Measured Wrath here. So yeah, I mean, needless to say, I will do a chaos run just to show you guys like how easily we wipe the floor with the Venom Lords and with Diablo, because those are some of the guys that his character, that Macro Bio Boy's character, struggled with, as far as I can recall, because of their absurd fire resist. So I'm really hoping that using this Infinity myself solves the problem. As far as I can tell, these guys are going down hard, right? They're very fire immune, but they're not immune to physical, and they're not immune to crushing blow. Now, I have hardly any dexterity, so you're probably wondering, like, how are you hitting so much? Well, it seems like Mirrored Blades is not based on attack rating. Not yet, anyway. If they change that, I think you'll still be okay, because Conviction lowers enemy defense. And then you can also use sigils with it, like, for example, Lethargy Sigil lowers enemy defense, 44%. Between this and Conviction, it's probably close to, like, minus 100% defense, right? So it gets pretty crazy. Okay. Very cool. And like you guys can see, I'm not even bothering to use the Lethargy Sigil, honestly, because it's overkill. This character is already just so strong, so good. If I put on the sigil, it's like not even fair. Right? That's not even fair. These guys are just, they become too easy. Okay, so let's try and speedrun this a little bit. See how fast we can get it done. And it's fun because you're not just summoning, right? You're not just sitting back, watching your guys do everything, picking up squirrels, whatever. No, you're engaged in the battle, right? It's fun. And like I said, because you have your tanks, you don't need to worry about your resistances, your defense. Just have a good life pool, which is easy to do, and you basically can sink everything into Vitality, which is another crazy thing, right? It's very few builds that you get away with everything in Vitality. So, like, I put a couple points into strength and dexterity, but hardly any. So the only thing my character's struggling with is Mana Leech, but I could just swap one of these rings out for a dual Leech ring and problem solved. Probably the Bull Kathos, just so I can hold on to the mana pool that the Stone of Jordan affords me. So yeah, guys, I mean, this is Players 8. It's pretty hype. It's pretty hype, I gotta say. Pretty hype. And then I can just walk around here, kill the Cease, while all the other guys are targeting my summons. He went down pretty fast for a Players 8 to Cease, I would say. Just drop a TP in case we die. It is Players 8. Okay. This pack is always a little bit scary, especially when you have minus 40 fire res. But yeah, I mean, if for Players 8, went down like that was nothing, okay? And that was the pack with the Venom Lords, right? Those guys all have very high fire resistance. So I really do think self-wielding Infinity is the answer. Look at that, I'm not even touching him, okay? Players 8 didn't even touch him. Went down really fast. If I was to get involved, it would go down 2-3 times faster because of the crushing blow. Honestly, I get that they had to nerf Echoing Strike, but at this point it's like, why? Because this build blows Echoing Strike out of the flippin' water. Like, there's no comparison. You get the fire damage, you get the physical damage, you get the crushing blow, you get the speed, you get the tanks, right? You get the cleansing aura from the plague. You can swap this treachery out with a bramble if you want to give you guys Thorn's aura. There's so many different amazing ways you could play this build and have fun, right? You could put the Infinity on a mercenary so you don't have this damage output, and then your guy can use a Call to Arms Phase Blade and you can max out like I was saying earlier, you know, your Hexbane and a Synergy, and you could use it with Cleave or with the Mirrored Blades, and you can do tons of damage that way while still preserving your conviction. There's a million different ways to play this guy, and anyway, I think I've made the case. I don't want to rant on too much longer here, but I just want to show you guys one more time. Players 8, absolute devastation here. We'll do one more area. Let's do the Travancore. Travancore, as you guys know, is a very hard area, especially Players 8. It's no joke, so we'll see how he handles it. We'll do all our pre-buffs here, all our 1-point wonders. We'll cast our Hexbane, if I can find it. Hexbane, where are you? Come on. There it is. Alrighty, we'll swap, and let's do this thing. Guys, Players 8, not a scratch on me. I have 25 fire resistance and 35 lightning resistance. Show me a better build. Not a scratch on me. Honestly, the only thing I'm kind of bummed about is my channel's so small. I know this is not going to reach people. It'll reach a couple hundred people, but people are not going to know about this build. So guys, do me a favor. If there's one video I want you to share, it's this video. If there's one video I want you to tell people about, it's this video, right? And again, the idea isn't completely original. I was inspired by Macro Bio Boy. I want to put that out there. I'm not trying to come off like, oh, I came up with this. I came up with the tweaks of using Infinity on the character, using this type of mercenary, the gear out, all of that is me. But the idea to use the Summon Tainted, that's from Macro Bio Boy. So he inspired this build. His build struggles with Venom Lords and Fire Means. My build doesn't. My build wrecks Players 8. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It wrecks. So anyway, guys, share the build. I want people to get excited about Warlock again and not think that, oh, they've made these changes. Time to chuck him in the bin. he's not trash, okay? We can redeem the Warlock. This is just the first build. This is probably going to be the strongest of the builds. But there's other builds. Personally, I don't really like the Chaos builds that much, but I will play with some just to see what's possible for your benefit. Okay, and we'll come with those in the later videos. And we'll try different gear routes for this guy as well. Have fun with different things. It's kind of hard to gauge which is the better loadout when they all obliterate players 8 though, right? Okay guys, I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something, and we'll catch you in the next one.